stood there with your hands tucked in your pockets. Your smile was trying hard to stay alive. I felt the moment slip between the heartbeats, a quiet truth we couldn't both survive. Your voice was lower than the room around us, a fading tone too heavy to ignore. You said you needed space, but in the silence I heard the part where you loved me no more. And though you looked away, the hurt was written compromise. This is where we fell apart, the quiet breaking hidden in your heart. I reached for who you were, but you were already drifting from the start. Even when tomorrow comes and teaches me to breathe with what we're not, I'll always keep the place where we fell apart. Sweater still hangs folded on the armchair, a small reminder of the nights you stayed. I press it to my chest like it holds answers, but all I feel is everything that fades. Your laughter echoes faintly in the corners, a ghost of comfort slipping into dust. I close my eyes and hear you whisper gently, a memory I still can't learn to trust. You didn't say goodbye, but goodbyes lingered somewhere in your spine. I should have let you go, but losing you was harder to define. This is where we fell apart, the quiet breaking hidden in your heart. I reached for who you were, but you were already drifting from the start. Even when tomorrow comes and teaches me shadow clings to every fragile part, a ghost I can't release, where we fell apart. This is where we fell apart, a quiet truth that tore my world apart. I keep it deep inside, a memory I carry like a scarred heart. Even when the years move place where we fell apart. So the night will move on and teach the ache beneath this fragile heart, still standing in the room where we fell apart. You stood there in the quiet by the window, your breathing soft like something fading slow. watched your fingers trace along the glass pane, as if the world outside could help you go. Your eyes were full of something you weren't saying, a muted truth you held behind your chest. I tried to touch your hand but felt you flinch, words like loving me was something you'd outgrown at best. And though you whispered low, your voice was hiding feelings you denied. I felt the moment break before the tears could gather in your eyes. This was before you closed down, the quiet shift that turned our hearts around. I held you like a truth, but found your warmth was nowhere to be found. Even when the morning came and dared to paint the sky in softer brown, I'll always miss the hour before you closed down. Your sweater on the chair looked strangely empty, a quiet shape that used to pull me near. I pressed it to my chest to feel you closer, but every breath just made you disappear. Your shadow on the floor was barely standing, your trembling form that flickered with the day. I knew I couldn't save the part you carry, the part that told your heart to walk away. You didn't say goodbye, but endings echoed through your tire stands. I felt you disappear before you even gave fate half a chance. This was before you closed down, the quiet shift that turned our hearts around. I held you like a truth, but found your warmth was nowhere to be found. Even when the morning came and dared to paint the sky in softer brown, I'll always miss the hour before you close down. Maybe love was meant to fade before we learn what staying really means. Maybe losing you was something written deep inside the seams. But even as I heal, your shadow still surrounds this fragile town, a memory that breathes before you close down. This was before you closed down, a soft collapse disguised without a sound. I carry all the pieces of the love we never got to crown. Even when the years move on and bury all the heartbreak underground, I'll still remember you before you close down. So let the silence fall and paint the truth we lost in shades of brown. Still living in this space before you close down. Stood beside the open doorway, you're breathing soft, too fragile to contain. You try to smile like nothing really shifted, but even quiet moments can't explain. Your eyes were drifting far beyond the room now, as if your heart had left before your feet. I reached to touch your hand, but felt the distance. Tonight I felt you breaking slow, a fading warmth slipping out of sight. Stay until the light fades, even if your heart already strays. Let me hold the truth before the dark can take our yesterdays. Even when the morning comes and scatters all the dreams that we once made, I'll still remember you until the light fades. Ooh, ooh. Your sweater still hangs crooked on the hanger, a quiet echo of the nights we shared. I brush against the fabric for a memory, but memories don't answer when you're scared. Your voice was barely stronger than a whisper. You said you needed time to find your way, but time can be a door we never reopen. Once someone chooses not to stay, and though you turned around, your shadow lingered softly near my chest, a gentle kind of hurt that never lets a breaking heart rest. Stay until the light fades, even if your heart already strays. Let me hold the truth before the dark can take our yesterdays. Even when the morning comes and scatters all the dreams that we once made, I'll still remember you until the light fades. Maybe love was meant to go before we learned the things we couldn't face. Maybe losing you was just a step we couldn't help but trace. But even as you leave, your warmth still pulls upon the empty space, a shadow of your touch, a feeling I can't replace. Stay until the light fades, a fragile moment no one truly saves. I'll keep it in my chest, the last goodbye your trembling voice conveys. Even when the years move on and soften every heartbreak time creates, I'll still be loving you until the light fades. Oh, so let the darkness fall. And take the piece of us the world misplayed, but leave me with your hope until the light fades. Oh, until the light fades. You looked at me like someone I once knew, a softer gaze now drifting somewhere cold. Your heartbeat slowed as if you made a choice, a quiet truth too heavy to be told. Your hands were trembling lightly in your pocket, your lips were pressed like words you couldn't say. I tried to step in closer for an answer, but you were already looking far away. we kept has slowly, gently died. That was when your eyes changed, the fragile shift that left our love astray. I reached for what we had, but every piece was slowly rearranged. Even if tomorrow comes and clears the space that heartbreak long contained, I'll always miss the you from before your eyes changed. Your sweater brushed against the silent doorway, a final echo of the nights we stayed. I whispered, please don't go, beneath my breathing. But some goodbyes were meant to not be swayed. Your laughter still hangs faintly in the corners, a fading sound that tries to feel like home. But nothing in this room can bring you back now. Now when the truth has left us both alone, you turned your face away, like meeting mine would only deepen scars. And in the dimmest light, I saw us falling further than the stars. That was when your eyes changed, the fragile shift that left our love estranged. I reached for what we had, but every piece was slowly rearranged. Even if tomorrow comes and clears the space that heartbreak long contained, I'll always miss the you from before your eyes changed. Maybe love was meant to fade before we learned the weight of saying stay. Maybe losing you was something written long before today. But even as you leave, your gaze remains a truth I can't exchange. A moment carved in me from when your eyes changed. That was when your eyes changed, a quiet end and neither heart explained. I held the fading light, but even hope was something prearranged. Even when the years move on and soften every memory we exchanged, I'll still remember you from when your eyes changed. So let the night go dim and leave the parts of us that feel deranged, still living in the loop from when your eyes change. You stood there with a calm you didn't want, a softness breaking underneath your breath. Your hands were shaking even as you smiled, as if goodbye was something you regret. The sunlight slipped across your fading shadow, a fragile outline trembling at the door. I reached for you, but something in your posture told me you weren't mine anymore. And though you tried to stay, your eyes were drifting someplace I don't know. I held your name too tight, but love was something letting go can show. This is after you let go, where every memory moves soft and slow. I try to hold the past, but all the pieces fall like melting snow. Even when the days move on and teach me wounds the heart must learn to sew, I'll always live inside after you let go. Your sweater still hangs lonely on the chair. The thread still shaped like nights you leaned on me. I touch the sleeve and feel the world grow quiet. A moment trapped in old simplicity. Your laughter lingers faintly in the corners, a gentle ghost that doesn't want to fade. I close my eyes and try to breathe it in, but echoes aren't the same as what we made. And though you walked away, your shadow stayed behind to say goodbye. It clung to everything, the parts of us I never learned to tie. This is after you let go, where every memory moves soft and slow. I try to hold the past, but all the pieces fall like melting snow. Even when the days move on and teach me wounds the heart must learn to sew, I'll always live inside after you let go. Maybe love was meant to fade before we understood the weight it bore. Maybe losing you was something life had written long before. But even as I heal, your warmth still lives in every afterglow, a quiet part of me. After you let go, this is after you let go, a fragile piece replacing what we know. I keep your name inside, a memory I never learned to stow. Even when the years drift on and soften all the footprints in the snow, I'll never leave the place after you let go. Let the night stay still and let the parts of us forever flow, still standing in the truth after you let go. Shadow slipped across the hallway edges, a trembling shape that barely touched the floor. I called your name, but you were somewhere distant, already halfway through another door. Your fingers brushed the wall like you were balancing between the truth and what we used to be. I watched the warmth inside your eyes grow quiet, the kind of quiet meant to set you free. And though you didn't cry, your your silence cut me deeper than the night. I felt you disappear without a word, without a final fight. You're gone, a breath that left the moment love went wrong. I reached but only touched the fading echo where your warmth belonged. Even if tomorrow comes and shows me how the heart keeps moving on, I'll never lose the night you first were gone. Your sweater hangs exactly where you left it. The thread remembers how you used to stay. I press my face against the fabric softly, as if it might bring back a part of yesterday. Your voice still lingers low inside the doorway, a fading hymn that time will dust away. But even when the world forgets your footsteps, my chest still tightens at the thought you stray. You didn't say goodbye, but goodbyes echoed in the space you spared. I watched you slip from me before I even knew how much I cared. You're gone, a breath that left the moment love went wrong. I reached but only touched the fading echo where your warmth belonged. Even if tomorrow comes and shows me how the heart keeps moving on, I'll never lose the night you first were gone. Maybe love was meant to vanish slowly so it wouldn't break. Maybe losing you was always written in the steps you take. But even in the dawn, your absence shadows every move I make. A piece of you remains in everything you share. You're gone, a truth my heart still struggles to belong. I hold the quiet close, a memory that time won't override strong.